My friends, I am so excited because today's video is sponsored by Intel, which means I get to build myself two brand new PCs. Let's get into it. So the first PC that I'm building is the high-end one, the one that I'm going to be using for all of my daily tasks of video editing, as well as the games that I'm able to play on my system, which means it's going to be getting no less than the highest end Intel chip out there, the i9-12900K. This thing has 8 performance cores, 8 efficiency cores, which means that I am going to be able to not only video edit faster than I've ever been able to video edit before, but also I will get the best gaming performance that I have on any system that's in my office. I'm excited for this because the Intel Thread Director will allow me to have greater performance than ever before in the foreground tasks that I'm doing, such as in Adobe's Premiere Pro, but then I also get more efficiency out of the E cores because that's going to allow me to be able to keep things like Discord and Chrome and all of the other things that I have open on any given video that I edit. But not only am I getting a better CPU setup, I'm also getting better pretty much everything, because I also will be using DDR5 in this 12900K system, which means I'm going to have more memory bandwidth available for any of the applications that I'm going to use on a daily basis. But the feature that I think I am most excited for is PCI Express 5.0. While there's no consumer PCI Express 5.0 device out there that I'm going to be using, because this MSI Z690 motherboard has 2 PCI Express 5.0 slots, when I use both my NVMe RAID card as well as my RTX 3080 Ti, I can get full bandwidth out of both of them, because the way the lanes will be split is that the GPU will be on a PCI Express 5.0 by 8 slot, and the RAID card will be on a by 8 slot, and a by 8 PCI Express 5.0 slot is the same speed as a full spec PCI Express 4.0 slot. So I'm gonna be able to get the 28 gigabytes per second out of this RAID 0 card, which will not be housing any data that is critical to me having. This is gonna be only for caching reasons, but I can get the full speed out of this for the first time ever while also getting full speed out of my graphics card. So the Intel i9-12900K system is replacing my main editing and gaming rig, and that's all done. Now let's go ahead and talk about what the i5-12600K system is going to be doing for me, because I don't just edit videos, but I also happen to stream from time to time, and especially this holiday season, I'm trying to get into it a little bit more. And I already have a system kind of set up for it, but I never really purpose built anything for it, and that's where the 12600K PC will come in and be something that's actually exceptionally good at streaming, because again, with the hybrid architecture that Intel's offering on their 12th gen chips, not only will I get the 6 P cores that are on the 12600K for handling either the gaming that I'm doing or the streaming, which takes actually some processing power to encode, I'll also have the E cores to run background tasks that are happening as it happens when you stream, such as, again, running Discord, having things such as my chat up, and being able to just pull from random web pages whenever I need to. And that's where this i5 is going to shine. But one of the things that I'm really thankful for with this latest generation that Intel has launched is that you can have DDR5 support, such as on my 12900K system, so that you get max memory bandwidth. But in case you're looking to go for a more budget option, something that's a little bit more wallet friendly or a little more conducive to what you already have in your current system, you do have DDR4 support, such as on this Tomahawk motherboard from MSI. So you can choose whether or not you want to go full performance or potentially want to still go high performance, but retain a little bit of what you had previously. But even though I'm using DDR4 on this motherboard, I still get to take advantage of things such as the PCI Express 5.0, Intel's Thread Director setup, and again, the power and efficiency that comes from the latest 12th generation CPUs from Intel. Now, I've already thrown the kitchen sink at the i9-12900K system, so this system is going to be getting just a little bit more reasonable setup. Instead of 4 PCI Express 4.0 SSDs, it's just going to get a single MP600 Pro XT from Corsair for PCI Express 4.0 reasons. And the GPU is going to be the RTX 3060, because honestly, I don't necessarily need more than that while I'm streaming. Now, both systems are finally built, and I've been using them for the past few days, and I'm getting exactly what I want out of both of them. The high-end i9-12900K system has been my main workhorse for the past few days. And let me just give you a few benchmark numbers so you can understand what we're working with here. So when I just render out a 4K 4K Premiere Pro video that's roughly like 8 minutes long. We're coming out to 1 minute and 57 seconds, which is all well and good, but one of the things that I really appreciate about having the new P cores and E cores on the 12th gen platform is the fact that I can do multiple things at once and I'm not necessarily tied down because the thread director is choosing what's actually being utilized for me. So the thing that actually blew me away was not the rendering performance by itself, but what happens if while the video is rendering, I choose I want to play some video games. And I've been recently replaying The Witcher 3, so let me throw some numbers to you from that while rendering and then also playing the game at the same time. That same 8-minute 4K video was rendered out in 5 minutes and 48 seconds. Still faster than real time, but also was able to play a game in the background, which is absolutely astounding. Then if you're wondering about the game performance, just testing The Witcher 3, which again is the game I'm replaying currently at the moment, I was able to average 251 FPS while just normally playing at 1080p high, which is reasonable. That's exactly what I want. It's the fastest FPS that I've ever gotten in the game. But if I add in the rendering component, again, doing 2 intensive tasks simultaneously while also having things like Discord and all of that open, my FPS only dropped to 180 FPS average. That's still blisteringly fast while doing 2 intense workloads on this entire PC. It's something that I really appreciate about having the latest architecture is that it allows me to do more than I ever could while doing it all at the same time. I can switch over to a game and then get back to work when it's done rendering. And I'm only losing just a few minutes by doing that. The 12600K system actually blew me away a little bit more. So obviously the point of this is that I'm going to stream and game at the same time. So this entire system, without doing any streaming, was able to play The Witcher 3 at 122 FPS average at the same specifications that I mentioned before. But once I added in the streaming component, it only dropped to 106.8 FPS average, which is hardly a decrease at all. Still over that 60 FPS mark, this thing played really well. And that was streaming using OBS to YouTube. But once I added in an added layer of complexity, this is where I was really impressed with the system. So not only did I stream to YouTube using OBS, but then I also streamed to Discord, which added a little bit extra tax on the system, but you wouldn't know it because I got the exact same frame rate in the video game because there was enough overhead on the chips to actually pull it off where I could stream to 2 different platforms at once using 2 different encoding systems, and it didn't result in any performance hit on the gaming system, which is honestly the best that I could possibly ask for. It's something that I really appreciate about these 12th gen systems. I get more performance and I'm able to do more things while I'm performing, which is exactly what you would want. More production for the same unit of time, and these 2 12th gen systems are indeed going to save me a lot of time just because of the raw horsepower that they have under the hoods. It's a car metaphor. Again, big thanks to Intel for sponsoring today's video, for providing me with the 12600K and the 12900K for me to build my ultimate systems that I want for what I'm doing here at UFD Tech. That's what they really asked me when they wanted to sponsor. They were just like, hey, how can we fit in to the workflow that you already have? I explained it to them and they were like, great. Yeah, we would love to send you parts so that you can build the systems that work best for you. And that's exactly what's happened here, and I'm very thankful for them. So with that being said, I'm gonna get back to work. I'm gonna set these bad boys back up at my workstation, and I will see you in the next UFD Tech video, my friends. Cheers.